Hey, those initial shots are just for the freeze frame they do in the video. Good morning to you. Thursday, episode 102 of the Daily Dose. I hope you can hear me over these little creatures making all this noise in these trees. Now, behind you see some palm trees. A couple of these, we have actually about 12 of them in our yard, and they're so tall you almost can't even see them unless you're looking at the video right now. You see that right up there, cabbage palm they call that. I have to actually get those trimmed, or they all these berries and stuff fall down. But good morning to you. And then I have all these oak trees, and there's these cicadas, so I think you probably hear that. Hopefully it won't be too annoying. I'm just used to it because it's just something we've had since we've been here. But they basically are flipping their wings. But anyway, let's get into it. Let's talk about today. The topic today in episode 102 of the Daily Dose. Just so you know who's bringing the Daily Dose, 102 episodes later. 102 days ago, I decided to start the Daily Dose to provide as much encouragement and to be on here and to inspire, to motivate. It's been kind of my life's pursuit in my line of work, and I wanted to just bring this now in a time where we could all use some encouragement. And today we're going to talk about when surgery is truly the only option you've got. And I mention that because right now my mother-in-law, and if you maybe checked an earlier post, I just wanted to share kind of on a side note, and I ask truly for your prayers, whether you saw the last one or you're listening to this. Is my mother-in-law is in surgery right now, or getting ready to go into surgery right now. It's going to be an 8-hour surgery, and she didn't have any choice. This is basically what she had to have done for what she's battling with right now. So I ask for your prayers, but I don't want to really focus on that because I did talk about that already. But I want to talk to you about when surgery is the only option. And I think, first off, I want to ask you, have you ever needed surgery? Now, if you come on here live, I'd love for interaction. If you want to share with me your thoughts, you want to share, because chances are if you're sharing something, somebody else are like, yeah, you know what, I resonate with not just what Mark's saying, but what that person said in their comments. So I would encourage you to share your comments. And, the reality is sometimes we all will need surgery at some point. And I'm going to get into that in just a moment. So I hope you hang, because I have a good story about surgeries in general. But my question is, have you ever needed surgery? And I think the first thing you think about is like when you need surgery, it's a doctor telling you, right, that you need surgery. A doctor saying, hey, you're going to need surgery. And it's like, oh, I don't want to hear that, regardless of what it is. And sometimes there's just no other choice. You have to have surgery, And I think of when doctors tell you, maybe as a parent with a kid, and I don't know what it's called when your ears, you have the ear problems as kids, and they have to do the ear surgery. And I know that's stressful as a parent because that's with typically a young child. I know maybe for some with the wisdom teeth, I had my wisdom teeth pulled, all 4 of them. That required surgery. Maybe it's tonsils, those types of, like, if you think of normal types of surgeries. Broken bones, you might need a cast, but you also may need surgery depending on the type of break. My wife and I went snowboarding when we were dating. It was kind of funny. And when we went snowboarding, it was her. She was a skier. This is when we were dating, and we went snowboarding. It was terrible conditions, and she fell and hurt her thumb. But we had a few beers at the time. She didn't think much about it. Next day, she goes to work, and the doctor's where she worked at. It's like, Nicole, you're gonna need surgery on that. Do you realize it's broken? And she had to get pins and put in. So again, those are the things that we think of. And what do you think of when you think about surgery? Like, you think the word surgery, I think cutting, like initially cutting, like there's going to be a doctor that's going to do some cutting, right? They're going to have to do some sort of a cut procedure, knife procedure, even if now they're all advanced technology and microscopic and laser and all those types of things. But my first thought is cutting. Somebody's going to have to cut. They're going to cut something out of me. They're going to remove something out of me. They're going to cut. And I know right now my mother-in-law is in that process of the doctor's having to cut, right? That's reality. Whether you think of it as gruesome or not, that's what I think of. So that's the first thing that comes to my mind. Number one is like cutting, like the doctors have to cut. But then I also think of like is removing or fixing or repairing or healing, right? You think, oh, they're going, my prayers and the doctors want is to help my mother-in-law who's having surgery, to help her heal, right? That's part of it. So I get that, right? So I want to share with you a story about, and why, trust me, there's a big point. So you're going to want to hang on tight, because you got to hear my story and how it's relating to and encouraging, because this is like, oh, it doesn't sound so encouraging. I'm not really wanting surgery. I want to talk about surgery, but please hang with me here, and I appreciate you for being on. So, and again, remember the title, when surgery is the only option you've got left, the only option you got. So what I went to school for was physical therapy. I'm not going to get into all the details of how I got there, but I ended up working and landing an awesome job at the #1 orthopedic hospital in the country, Hospital for Special Surgery. You can look it up. I think they're actually maybe second or first to Mayo. Mayo Clinic, I'm not too sure, but they are like, that's one of the top orthopedic hospitals. So you think of orthopedics, if you know that sound, chances are if you're in your 40s or 50s, you've heard of it before. You know somebody has had a knee replacement or hip replacement or back surgery or neck surgery or shoulder surgery, all that stuff, right? So that was my first job out of school. And I worked with patients who had surgery. Reality is, and it was, most of it was elective surgery. The majority of it, people would maybe fall and break their hip and require surgery, those types of things. But a lot of it was elective. Hey, it's time, you need a new knee. Your shoulder's jacked up. You need to have shoulder surgery, all those types. You need a hip replacement, those types of things. And that's what I did day in and day out. Literally, for about 5 years, I worked. Again, my job as a physical therapist assistant I was one of the first people, besides maybe the nurses who were kind of monitoring you when you come out of surgery. And if you had one, maybe you can relate. But doctors cut, right? I know, because one of the things I had to look at was the wound. I had to look at the incision, see the staples, the bandage, typically was bandaged up, maybe those drains and that sort of thing. And I had to adjust. And what my job was as a therapist was to get them up. Okay, Mrs. Jones, it's time to get out of bed. It's time for you to walk. It's time for you to start moving again. We're going to have to see how this new knee is. We're going to have to get you up on your feet and feel that hip. It's time to get that shoulder moving. It's time to get you moving. You have a new piece of hardware in your back. It's time to move. And so all of those things that made me think of today is about cutting out, like cutting, removing, replacing, right? A hip, you think of, they have to cut in there. They have to take out the old stuff, put in the new, right? Not to get into all those things. And my job was simply the after effect, to help get them back on their feet, to help recoup, recover, rehab somebody. And typically it was, when I worked in the hospital, it was short term. So it was literally like in and out, like they got up and they got moving, you got out the door. As how healthcare is, it's no longer hanging out of the hospital for 3 weeks. Now it's you get up, you get moving, you go home, or you go to like a rehab center. And I don't know what it is, because I've been away from physical therapy for years. I'm sure it's very similar. But so the one phrase I heard, and here's we're going to bring this together about when surgery is the only option you got. Think about that just for a moment. Now, one of the things that I've heard time and time, and this is going to resonate, this is going to have, I think, a huge impact, and please hang with me here, is the one thing that I heard time and time again when I was working with those patients, and I'd have on average, and this is for like 5 years, in different types of settings, in the hospital, subacute, I did all this stuff, but time and time again, getting rehab, getting them up on the feet, this was the phrase that I heard. Hang with me here, hang with me. Is, man, I really wish I didn't wait so long to have that surgery. Now, mind you, I'm not talking about necessarily the broken hip, but somebody's hip that wears out. Let's talk about that. And somebody's knees that has been bad and just kind of on the wrong path for a long time. Somebody's shoulder that's been jacked up for a long, long time. And I know the last thing you want to think about is surgery, but I hope this resonates with you, and I hope it lands well. Is one of the things that I heard a lot was, and a lot of it was elective surgery, is, Mark, man, I wish I didn't wait that long. I wish I had the surgery earlier. I cannot believe how much better my knee feels. I cannot believe how much better I'm standing. I cannot believe how much better my hip feels. Now, mind you, some of them, we'll just say on a side note that they maybe had some pain medicine to help in that. But they said time and time again, they said to me, Mark, I don't know, why did I wait so long to get that? People told me that had hip replacements and knee replacements, typically those, because it was mainly the place for knees and hips. If you want a knee or hip done, you go to HSS. So that was like time and time again. I wish I didn't wait so long. My knee's been shot for so long. They were in such bad shape. I cannot believe how much better I feel. So why do you think they said this? Why do you think they said this? Why do you think they said, I wish I had done this a lot sooner? I wish I hadn't waited 5 years. My doctor told me, 6, 7 years ago, my surgeon told me that I would feel a whole lot better. Your knee has got no joint. There's no cushion. There's no suspension there. Your hip is completely worn out. It is bone on bone. If you're in your 40s or 50s, you've probably heard this. Maybe you've heard this from a doctor. Maybe you heard this about a friend. Just wore out, regardless of the reason. If it's osteoarthritis, or you just were active and you wore yourself out, is your doctor saying that? And then you just said, nah. I know you're avoiding. And then you're saying, man, I wish, I heard this so many times. I wish I had done this sooner. I wish I had done this sooner. I wish I had done this sooner. So it's kind of like, here it is. It's kind of like what I hear from people who I'm able to help get them on the right path. And what they say is, man, I've been struggling with my weight for so long. I've been struggling on this yo-yo diet roller coaster ride for years and years and years. I've been fighting this battle, having no clue how to exercise or even really get any help. I've been fighting it and fighting it. Why did I wait so long to work with somebody like you who put me on the right path to do what I needed to do? And here's the thing, and this isn't about me, this is about, my question to you is, and that can be related to anything, but I'm just sharing this. What surgery, so the question is, what surgery do you need to take care of right now? What do you need to cut out of your life right now? There may be something that's holding you back. Now, it might not be a physical, like your knee replacement. I'm not saying that you should go get your orthopedic surgeon to take out and put a new knee in, but I'm saying there's probably something in your life right now that's holding you back from you being at your absolute best, your optimum level for you, not anybody else, not your spouse, not your friends, for you. There's probably something holding you back. And you know what? Like the surgeons, and what makes me think of when you think of surgery and cutting something out, maybe, just maybe, it's time that you cut something out of your life. Maybe it's a relationship that's causing you to not be your absolute best. Maybe it's your lack of worth and value. You know, if you've been listening to me, you're so valuable. You're worth every single moment, every single investment you make into yourself on all levels. Maybe it's feeling afraid that you're going to fail again. Maybe you need to cut out of your life. Maybe it's time that you cut out just guessing. Maybe it's time that you actually do surgery on guessing. Maybe it's time that you cut out certain habits that you have. And I know that's hard, but maybe it's time to do some surgery. Because here's the thing, like they said to me often when I got them out of bed and I got them up walking and we walked down the hallway in the hospital, or maybe up and down the stairs before they go home, and they turned and said to me, Mark, I wish I didn't wait so long to have the surgery. I wish I didn't wait so long to get this fixed. Because essentially that's what happened. And you're thinking of like knee replacements and joint replacements, and when a doctor tells you it's time to have surgery and you need it, they want to help you and they want to heal you, help get you in a better place so you can feel better, right? So I don't know what that looks like for you, but that's truly today the point of this message is, what do you need to cut out of your life that's holding you back? What do you need to cut away to literally, what do you need to do? You don't have to go visit an orthopedic surgeon. Oh, maybe you do. There might be some of you who have been waiting and you've been struggling with your body, and it's all because of that joint that's completely shot that you know you need to go see. Trust me, I've heard it so many times. I wish I had that surgery earlier. I wish I had gone. I wish I hadn't waited. And I see this, and I hear this often when people come to me for their weight loss, when they come in and inquire about my coaching services in my Lean Body Breakthrough Coaching Program. I put breakthrough in there because sometimes it takes a surgery to have that breakthrough for people. And sometimes it means the surgery for them is to remove their doubt, their fears, and thinking that they can't do it, that this is just, some other, Mark's got just some other quick fix. There's some probably pills or shakes or some kind of crazy workouts. No, that's why I say this all the time. My coaching program isn't any of those. In fact, it is to help you to get beyond the crazy diet, to get beyond the long workouts and get you into feeling better, kind of like what a surgeon does when they remove something or replace a joint and help you feel better. I want to help you feel better. So really, this is truly more of a thought-provoking daily dose of encouragement. Is maybe the best encouragement I give to you today is, what surgery do you need to do in your life right now? What do you need to cut out or cut away from you so that you can start moving in the path to your best health? Maybe your best body, maybe your best mindset, maybe the best way you feel about yourself. That could be truly the one thing missing. It may that you have to do a little minor surgery to remove something, to take something away. And I'm not talking about like pizza or cupcakes, because again, that's a Band-Aid. You can peel the Band-Aid off a little, literally. You can just peel the Band-Aid off, but it's really easy to put the Band-Aid back on, right? I'm talking about surgery. I'm talking about cutting. And you know what I tell people, once you have surgery, there's no going back. In other words, you can't remove the surgery that's done. It's already done, right? You have the surgery. You put a new knee in your joint. There's no getting back your old knee, right? That's gone. You get a shoulder replacement or your back surgery and they go in and fuse your spine. There's no going back on that. They cut. Once they cut in, that's there. Now, there might be some scars that come along with that, but I can say there's a healing process, an improvement process that takes place. And that's my hopes for you. So that's what I'm going to leave with today on the Daily Dose. I hope it found you well. If this message resonated with you, I hope that you share it with somebody. You can come back and watch it. Just so you know, this is episode number 102. We're talking about today when surgery is the only option you have. So if you are saying, you know what, I don't know what else, maybe it's time for a little surgery. Take care. God bless. Talk to you soon.